How to Write a Compelling Plot Twist by N.J. Symonds. How to Write a Compelling Plot Twist, a complete guide. We all know that a book with a great hook is something agents, editors, and readers are looking for. But when it comes to books that last, the one that readers will be recommending for years to come, it's those with the best plot twist that stand the test of time. Yet plot twists are so hard to write. How do you deliver thrilling twists and turns that will keep your readers guessing until the very end? What is a plot twist? I feel that the characters in the book, if they were real, would be like, seriously, another plot twist? A plot twist is a literary device found in all forms of storytelling where the reader or viewer is lured into the intrigue of the plot and left reeling by a grand revelation or turn of events they didn't see coming. A plot twist can take place in any scenario, but there are 3 very important rules a writer must follow. It must be plausible. The reader needs to be surprised by the revelation, but not shocked. All readers love to guess what will happen next, but if the plot twist doesn't make sense or hasn't been primed in advance, the readers will feel tricked or let down. It must be a surprise. It's not much of a twist if the reader is able to guess the outcome from the very beginning. A successful plot twist, whether in a book or movie, will keep people guessing all the way through. It must be foreshadowed. We all love to think we can outsmart the writer and guess what will happen, but a great writer will make you think you've cracked it and still surprise you with a revelation that makes total sense, but only in retrospect. Why is it important to have plot twists in your book? It's not. Plot twists aren't vital in every book, but they are a great way to add intrigue, keep readers turning the pages, and get them invested in the plot, not to mention add much needed hype to your book. And it doesn't matter what genre you write in. A great plot twist transcends all types of books and stories. We often think of thriller plot twist when considering books with a great reveal. You can't have a successful murder mystery without a shocking revelation at the end, but every book can benefit from adding a plot twist 2 or 3 to add tension, intrigue, and keep readers talking. A good plot twist can be used effectively in all genres, from fantasy to young adult to romantic comedies and gothic horror, even if no one has gone missing or been killed. Plot twist examples from books and movies. There are too many amazing plot twist examples and great plot twist books to list them all, so we've split them up into 3 types. So here you have plot twist number 1, the grand reveal. This is generally known as the whodunit and is used in all crime, thriller, and murder mystery books and movies. So here's plot twist number 1. So a single mother falls in love with her boss and befriends his wife, but something goes very wrong behind her eyes. Sharp objects. Knives Out. The Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Just after midnight, the Orient Express stops in its tracks. In the morning, an American is found stabbed to death. Who did it? Yes, I saw that, The Orient Express. Brilliant movie. You should go watch it. Plot twist number 2. The plot thickens. These types of plot twists are often used to change the direction of the story. Sometimes the twist is the inciting incident. Sometimes it's the midway reveal. Or it can pull the protagonist in a new direction and lurching into Act 3. When it comes to a series, these types of revelations can also serve as great cliffhangers. So here you would have The Maze Runner by James Dashner. Dozens of boys and one girl must escape a maze for freedom. Yet who is behind their imprisonment? Parasite. A poor family scheme to become employed a poor family scheme to become employed by a wealthy family and to infiltrate their household by lying about who they are. I Am Legend, a post-apocalyptic vampire thriller about a lone survivor struggling to live in a world that is no longer his own. In other words, everyone gets turned into a vampire. And this lone survivor, Will Smith, is the only human left, the only person with blood. And then he has to find out, he has to find a cure to cure, because in this thriller, the vampires all are stricken with some kind of virus that turns them into vampires. And the lone survivor has to develop a cure, in order to figure out the cure, in order to cure the vampires. And then at the very end, there's a plot twist about how he does it. Wait, what? Some of the best plot twists are those that you never ask for and come out of nowhere. By adding a huge plot twist at the end, and one that, unlike a murder mystery, you were not waiting for it, changes the entire story from what you were led to believe to something else. So that's what we did in The Lottery and in The Story of an Hour, in which at the very end of the story, the plot twist comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? And you're not expecting it. And then the plot twist changes the entire story from what you were led to believe to something else. That's what makes the two stories we read this week such classics. So these twists, in which you have total surprise out of nowhere, these twists throw the biggest curveballs and leave you reeling as the results roll, as the credits roll, or you close the book for the last time. A Sixth Sense. A little boy can see ghosts and is helped by a psychologist. So this is a story in which a psychologist visits a little boy, and this little boy says to the psychologist, "I can see dead people." That was the classic line. And at the very end, the psychologist helps the boy out, and then it turns out at the very end, the psychologist is the dead person. That the psychologist is, you've got to see the movie. It's so basically the only reason why the little boy can see the psychologist is that he's also dead, and he didn't know he was dead till the little boy said, "Well, what do you mean you can see dead people?" "Well, I can see you, doctor. You're dead too," or something like that. It just came out of nowhere. This is a great movie. You've got to see it. So you only have to read the latest Amazon reviews of a newly hyped thriller to see how important plot twists are to readers. Many books are sold as having a twist you never saw coming, which can backfire if readers are able to guess the grand reveal too early. So you want to surprise them at the very end. So here are ways in which you can write a good plot twist. Let your characters do the hard work. If you have created well-rounded characters with clear intentions and strong personalities, they will often reveal to you something you never initially planned. Relax and in other words, let your characters do the hard work. So if you're going to write a good plot twist story, you have to have rich characterization. You have to make sure you have flat characters, round characters, and characters that are fully developed. Work backwards. Okay, work backwards means that some of the best writers, you write the ending of the story first, and then you write the rest of it. So let's say I want to write a murder mystery. So I'm going to think, I'm going to say the wife did it. Then when I write the suspenseful part of the story, I'm going to have all of these red herrings where I lead the reader off the trail of the wife until at the very end, oh my God, you would never think it was the wife. And so this was true of a thriller I read, and in which the DA, she was the DA, and she prosecuted all of the criminals, all of the violent criminals. And so the possible suspects for her murder could have been any one of those violent criminals that were let out of jail. And so that the whole book is about a whole laundry list of violent criminals, when actually the backstory was that the female DA and then the detective who was working on the case had had an affair. And then the wife got jealous. The wife of the detective had gotten jealous, and she's the one who murdered the DA. It wasn't any of those violent criminals that the reader was led to believe, oh, because she prosecuted violent criminals, it has to be one of those people who killed her. So throughout the whole story, the reader is led on a wild goose chase. So having the reader be on a wild goose chase is a great way to write a story in which you write the ending first, then you write the rest of the story. Okay, that is a great way to do it. And I forgot the name of this story. Sorry. So when it comes to the best thriller, authors often work backwards. They start with a big reveal, and then they go back and insert subtle clues and pointers alongside dead ends and red herrings. Like I said, he made everybody else, the author made everybody think that because the DA prosecuted the violent criminals, it had to be one of those violent criminals. So the detective kept investigating one violent criminal after the other, and it turned out it couldn't have been him because he was with his wife, couldn't have been the other guy because he's still in jail, couldn't have been. So one by one he had to work off the list. And then by the very end of the story, the detective had crossed out all of the violent criminals she had been in contact with, and none of them could have done it because they were all either in jail or they were dead, or they had an alibi in which one guy was actually on TV. So during the time in which the murder took place, he was giving an interview on TV in front of the whole, the United States. So his alibi is like, well, if you turned on your TV at 8 o'clock, you would have seen me live. So I have an alibi that the whole town can attest to, type thing. So he was gone. And so the detective is left scratching his head. Who could have killed the DA? Then he had to go investigate and that was the DA's professional life. Then he had to, once he started investigating the DA's personal life, and then it turned out it was him. It was him having the affair and his jealous wife. That was the perfect ending. You write the ending first, and then you lead the reader on a wild goose chase. Yeah. So that's the best way to write a plot twist. You mislead your reader on purpose, and then you give the reader a mega twist at the end of the story. Okay, just like the Wizard of Oz, and we're off to see the wizard, and so at the very end you find out that the wizard is fake. There is no magical wizard, so everybody knows that. So play with your reader's emotions. Authors love to make the readers feel, whether that means making you laugh, cry, shock, or even angry, or you throw the book against the wall, because you simply have to know what happens next. So the best way to play with a reader's emotion is to deliver a roller coaster of gut-wrenching twists and a big dilemma, having big problems, lots of dramatic events, lots of twists, and that's how you keep the reader on the edge of their seat. So here's a bunch of examples. The bad guy isn't the bad guy after all. The MC falls in love with a friend, helping them get the girl. The imaginary world is the real world. MC isn't the narrator. It's all been someone else's point of view. The good guys were never there to help after all. The MC isn't alone, as we have been led to believe. The narrator is unreliable. Okay, that's like Telltale Heart. The MC has been lied to all along. They've been pretending to be someone else. They are not dead or are not alive. Okay, so this one has to do with the sixth sense. So plot twist when executed well, are not only fun to experience as a reader, but also a lot of fun to write. Yeah, I tried writing a mystery. That's how I knew about the red herrings, in which I wrote the ending first, and then it was fun leading the reader by the nose on a wild goose chase. That was fun. There's no greater thrill than a reader exclaiming they never saw your twist coming. So next time you are reading a great book, or watching a movie, or writing your plot twist story, okay, study the clues, guess the outcome, and try to get one over on the writer. You may be even inspired to write your own unforgettable plot twist story. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me.